So here we go with the top 5 reasons why BravoTV's Real Housewives of Rhode Island may actually be the best franchise.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.
Okay, if you've been watching The Real Housewives on Bravo TV, this wonderful reality show, which has a lot of roller coasters, yes, there are other franchise series that make a lot of sense. People love Orange County, people love Beverly Hills, people love Atlanta, people love Real Housewives of Potomac. They're all good in their own right. Me personally, I've always liked every version, I know, of Real Housewives of New York. I've loved Miami. Where is Larsa? We need more Larsa. And of course, I love Melissa Gorga, who runs things over on Real Housewives of New Jersey. But anyways, just being playful about the whole thing. It's a great reality TV show. It's kind of like candy. You shouldn't enjoy it that much, but sometimes you do. What's up? My name is Randomly Ronnie Jr., a reality TV expert, trying to bring some really fun, hot takes, pop culture breakdowns. And of course, if you want to support, you can check out patreon.com/randomlyronniejr. So let's do 5 reasons why Real Housewives of Rhode Island was a huge success and quite possibly, maybe, just maybe, I'm not saying for sure, the best franchise on Bravo TV. Number 5, it's got to be Rosie. When I seen the cast and read the cast breakdowns, I said, listen, Rosie needs to lean into being a comedic sidekick of sorts. And I say that where I stand corrected. I'm actually wrong about that. I had no idea somebody, when I looked at the cast at the beginning, watched the first 3 episodes and said, she may fade to the back. And the fact that Rosie has not faded to the back, she is gorgeous. She's out there doing events left, right, everywhere. And she's busy, I guess, having a career glow up. I'm surprised I didn't like her at the beginning because I love radio television. Of course, I always say I've worked in radio for so many years ago. It's just such a sweet spot in my heart. So I usually like the radio or TV people. Stacy, I love Stacy on Real Housewives of Potomac from day 1, second 1. I was like, who is this? But Rosie, it's not that she was bad. I just didn't see anything really jumping off the page. And then she invented the slam pig of it all. I mean, this is the ridiculous and obnoxious television that you do like and you find unexpected. So for that, number 5 reason why I think Real Housewives of Rhode Island may be one of the best franchises ever is because an unexpected episode 1 watching Rosie and then watching the whole season and being like, whoa, Rosie, I mean, she may not be the center, but she's going to be like sitting next to Andy in no time. And at number 4, why I think The Real Housewives of Rhode Island may be the best franchise is because there's no actual star of the show. And I say that with all the delight. If I watched from the beginning, I believe it's Joellen. And on the long run, it probably will be Joellen. Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5. But as you watch the show, even from the beginning, you're like, Rula, like she's living the full fantasy. And then you're like, no, but I really like Rula. I like a cast member, and albeit Rula does have a lot going on and she has a lot to deal with, but she's living the full fantasy. Now, if we're talking about day to day, if we're talking about who we interact with, if we're talking about our family and our friends, no, you wouldn't want somebody to be as delusional as Rula. For our show, she's not only gorgeous, but she's delusional. And so Rula also is the star of the show. How do you have it where Rula's the star of the show, but then Joellen's the star of the show, but then Alicia with the crackers, she's the star of the show, and obviously don't have her drive you anywhere? I would say if I had to put a weakest link, it has to be Ashley. And that's saying a lot because Ashley, I don't want to say anyone knows their role or whatever, but Ashley is the comic relief. She's sort of what I thought Rosie would be. She lays right into it. She knows how to make that long money with her brand ambassador work and stuff like that. She's been on The Bachelor, and Ashley to me has been a delight. So do you see what I'm saying? Everyone is the star of the show. Liz is the star of the show. Now, I don't know where Liz will go because it is a roller coaster and we are on that ride with Liz. And so do you see what I'm saying? Everyone's the star of the show. And I've had little conversations where it's like, oh, Kelsey is a little cheesy or whatever. And she might be, but she is leaning into, there was a song in the 90s, Gold Digging Girls Driving Me. I mean, if you know the song from back in the day, she's I mean, it's not like you're saying her character and her values are wonderful, but she's leaning into it, and she's Miss Miss Slam Pig USA. You know, I mean, that type of goofiness I can't get enough of. So all the cast members in some way, shape, or form are the stars of the show, and I think because of that, you have a series that is an ensemble. You know, I've never liked Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that much, specifically because from day one, episode 1, it was always about Kyle, and I thought she was one of the weaker ones on that first season, next to Camille, next to Adrian. And sometimes when these shows decide to give you, they decide who the success is before they're actually successful, it makes it hard to watch. When you have a show that there's no stars of the show and there's an ensemble, now you got a good show. Number 3, why I think this franchise is that good is because I've only been to Rhode Island, I think once or twice. Okay, I was in Newport. Yes, I was in Newport. I was at the Rosecliff Mansions for a wedding. That's the same spot where I believe they did The Great Gatsby, the original one, not the Leonardo DiCaprio one. So, you know, that's the only texture I have of it. I've been to Brown University. So anyways, I just have such an affinity for Northeastern culture, but, you know, living in New York for about 8 years on and off, like I like that and I know that, but I don't really, outside of those few experiences, I really don't know Rhode Island. So I think it's a challenging thing because it's like Rhode Island locals probably think this show doesn't represent really what Rhode Island is, and I get that, but what I do think is a good quality is it does take you, the outside viewer, it takes you into Rhode Island to a degree, and I think that's fun. All right, coming in at number 2 as to why I think Real Housewives of Rhode Island is a franchise that might be better than the rest. Oh man, that's me coming at Miami. You know I love Miami. That's one of my favorites. I love New York though too, but anyways, why I think it is fantastic is because, okay, so for a long time there was a conversation about it's hard to have these reality shows, especially the way reality TV is now, and you just put a bunch of cast members together and assume they're gonna have interesting banter because they don't really know each other. It comes across like it is a produced show. Well, Real Housewives of Rhode Island, there were existing friendships that existed for years and years and years and years and years with these cast members. My favorite part about that is when you do the flashbacks, you're watching Real Housewives of Rhode Island, you see an episode and Alicia or Liz or Joellen, they talk about, oh yeah, you know, 15 years ago this, 20 years ago this, I went to high school with, you know, such and such, and you see the photo and it's like, you know, 4 or 5 facelifts ago. It's the greatest thing, and I think that pre-existing friendship or frenemy, I think really does come across why this show is and has been such an unexpected hit. All right, and the number 1 reason why I think the Real Housewives of Rhode Island is possibly the best franchise across the board is because it's right here and right now. If you go back to original seasons of Real Housewives of New York in that era, it doesn't miss a beat. If you go back to the original Atlanta, Sheba Sheree, Nene Leakes, Kim Zolciak, it was right there. It was a picture of what was happening at that time. And where the reality shows have had challenges, specifically the Real Housewives franchise, I feel like they're not adapting, and adapting doesn't always work, but they're not adapting to the now. And Real Housewives of Rhode Island, I assume they were not necessarily going to be a Real Housewives franchise to begin with. Much like Real Housewives of Potomac, I don't believe was going to be Real Housewives. They were doing something with another organization, and then the show was that good, they just wanted to add it to the franchise called Real Housewives, made it Real Housewives of Potomac. Also, like New York, you know, famously, they talk about it was called Manhattan Moms, but then the show did so well, or was put together so well, they wanted to kind of ride the wave that was the franchise Real Housewives. Of course, 20 years, Orange County starting it all. So the concept that this group was sort of already doing what they were doing, and it was a show that was not aimed to be a Real Housewives show, probably has a little bit of the magic as well, because the show itself was, you know, trying to sort of get its own identity. When you're chosen from the beginning to join a success, it's a little easier, even though it's hard work still. So if you're getting a show and you're like, oh, we're going to be a Real Housewives franchise, you already know that there's sort of proof in the pudding that that franchise and that type of show succeeds. But if you're given a show and you've got to do it on your own, much like some of the other shows that had to do on their own, which were interesting, where like a Family Karma was good, Jeff Lewis's show was good, Jonathan Antin Blowout was good, but all these shows had to sort of do it on their own. There wasn't a franchise behind them. And Real Housewives is a powerful and successful franchise. And just so happens that these existing relationships of these Rhode Island cast members made something that was enough and exciting to be a huge success. And my bonus reason why I think the show is good, I know, no one likes, I remember watching Real Housewives of Potomac, and people would laugh all the time at Robin, because Robin couldn't quit Juan. But, Juan Dixon, okay. But they would always laugh at her. And I think that while that's a tough thing interpersonally, when you have a cast member that's being that vulnerable with how they're standing by, maybe not a great relationship, though it's challenging and I have the sympathy and empathy for it, I do, it's a good watch. And it's an interesting watch because you can't fault Robin, you can't fault Rula for trying to maintain and keep the structure together. And Rula's even more interesting, maybe even than Robin, although I've always liked Robin. Rula's interesting because Robin is gorgeous too. Rula is phenomenally gorgeous, seems to be so headstrong in terms of her business acumen and all these things. It's like everything is checking the box. She's wonderful. She's wonderfully put together, except for her husband, who is, sort of given her a lot to deal with. And I think that's just a fascinating watch. Would I want that for her? No. But as a cast member, if she's willing to showcase it and she's willing to show up for herself, far be it for a viewer to be like, oh, that's pathetic. It's like that's showing real reality moments. This is not easy, and she's showcasing it, and she's doing it oh so beautifully. I don't know. I just think Rula is the most gorgeous, and as I said from the beginning, it was like, who's the star of the show? I think it will be Joellen, but if you ask me, it's Rula. I am a Rula fan on the show. I am such a fan of Rula. I feel like if she was not on this show, it would have been the back and forth and you and then I don't like you. But Rula adds something. When she's away, you want more of her. She talks about, oh, I'm sick. And when she gets sick, she says, she's like Regina George, I'm sick, I can't come. Like she's just the most goofy, delusionally satisfying to a viewer, is what I think. But anyways, what are your thoughts on Real Housewives of Rhode Island? What is the best franchise after 20 years of the success of this show? Say what you say if you don't like the show or not. The show has been successful for 20 years. It's all quite incredible.
Randomly.
Get ready to get random.
Randomly Ronnie Jr.
Randomly Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.
He knows what's up.
Nothing but the best.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.
Randomly Ronnie.
Quality entertainment.
Let's go. Randomly Ronnie. Hey, Randomly Ronnie.
Let's get random with Randomly Ronnie Jr.
Randomly.
I love you.